This is the barb stitch. I think you'll find that it's fairly easy. We're going to start by working a line of blanket stitch or buttonhole. Just remember, blanket stitch is just spread apart farther than the buttonhole. So I'm not gonna keep filming this. You've done the blanket stitch before, and whichever direction you work, right to left or left to right, is fine. I can do it both ways. So I'm gonna just stitch my blanket stitch all the way down one line. Once I have one line of blanket stitch, then I'm gonna come back and work another row that is a mirror image. So I want my spacing to be the same. So the legs on the blanket stitch, I want them basically to line up. And my long top edge is just sitting right next to the two rows, or sitting right next to each other, right here in the middle between them. So the goal in the second line is just to have the same spacing so everything's lining up. So I'll just work it on down for my second row of blanket stitch. Now we're going to whip stitch those two lines together. I have switched to a tapestry needle, and because the thread that I'm using to whip stitch with will only be going through the fabric at the beginning and the end of the row, I can use a more delicate thread if I want to. So I'm bringing my thread up under my center section on the very end, and then I'm just going to whip stitch it. So I go down from top to bottom in the next space, and then again down from top to bottom in the next space, and I'm just going to keep doing that all the way down my row, whip stitching the centers together. So you could work this on a curve because it can go anywhere that a blanket stitch can. You could work rows of them right next to each other so that you were filling in a bigger space. You could work rows so they were alternating, so that the legs on the next row were coming in here. So it's just kind of a fun, kind of a composite stitch of the blanket stitch and the whip stitch. So when I get to the other end, I'm just going to take my thread down under that last straight bit and to the back, and that finishes the barb stitch.